Yo, what's up, everybody, including Lottie Dottie? It's your boy Retro, and we are in a big pile. We are burning the midnight oil, as you can see. I am still in Illinois, and it's a cold, brisk night. 1:49 my time, and temperatures are 52 degrees, and certainly seem to be dropping. And so I wanted to see who was up, and wanted to holler at your boy, keep me company for a little while. Um, so we were riding, we were layered up, freeze out, and jeans, but the temperatures dropped, and I could have continued to thug it out, but why thug it out when you don't have to? So I pulled over and pulled out the heated gear, and I guess I will insert that video here. But I'm using hot wired heated gear from Cycle Gear, and both the gloves and jacket as well as pants. I don't have the socks or the sole inserts, but I think I'm going to get the sole inserts just to give my feet a little heat as well. Um, but I'll deal with that when I get to Cycle Gear. So the gloves they're working, but only on the lowest setting. If I try to turn them on medium or high, for whatever reason, they'll stop working. And so I'm not really sure what's going on with that. And if I plug them straight up to the suit, like they're supposed to, there's a plug from the jacket that supplies power for the gloves. They won't work that way at all. So I have to plug the gloves in separately to its own power source, and then the suit to its own power source. So it's a good thing that I have both the battery tender plug. I'm using that for the gloves, and then I have a direct link for the suit. Of the I have mine positioned right up out of the seat where the backrest goes into, so it works out fine. Uh, so again, I put that on because I didn't want to thug out the cold, especially this time. Make it a little easier on myself. I often say, and now I'm eating those words, the weather doesn't dictate whether or not we ride, but the gear we wear when we ride. And so in this case, when you're looking at 50-degree weather, 80 mile per hour speeds, then, that 50 degrees drops significantly. And as I've been saying and will continue to say, it is not the temperatures per se that get you, but the wind that cuts you. Yeah, so it's the wind that actually gets into gets through the fabric of your clothes, and just makes you cold. So heated gear to the rescue. Uh, I'm looking at about 11 and a half hours to get to my destination. I am doing a 1K24, which is the significant of a iron butt, if you will. Uh, so stay tuned for that. We'll be talking a whole lot more about that. Shout out to all my folks that's still up. Anybody else can't sleep? I know it's 2 o'clock here my time. What time is it where you are watching from? Let us know in the comment section. Uh, so we're going to go ahead and push it for this next 11 hours and conclude this trip by God's grace. This portion of the trip, anyway, we'll land in Massachusetts sometime around 11 a.m. Yeah, somewhere around 11 a.m. noonish. 780 miles to go to get to my destination, and it's beautiful night, a little brisk, a little cold. But other than that, man, it's a beautiful night. Traffic is bearable. It's actually at a minimal. Um, so uh, we started this trip last Sunday, and we managed to go from North Carolina up and through Canada, down into Mexico, and now here in Illinois. And we didn't get one drop of rain until tonight. As I was coming through Chicago, it opened up on me. And yeah, it was cold, wet, and dark. And those Chicagoans, Chicagoans, what do you call people from Chicago? Them folk from Chicago was moving like they was, at NASCAR or something. So, uh, but it is what it is. Thank God it didn't last long, but it was long enough. It came down pretty good, and so I stopped not too long ago to get gas, and and I just killed some time sitting there checking my social media real quick and used the restroom, and then I came back out to get on the bike to take off, and it was raining. So I pulled up my weather app and checked it out, and there was no major precipitation on the radar. So I figure it was just, some overlapping or whatever. And so currently we're riding along, no rain, and all is well, as they would say. So I have 189 miles to go, and then I will continue on Interstate 80 East. So my thing is traveling through the night. A lot of times it works in my favor. Uh, the only drawback is I've been on this bike since 9 o'clock this morning, with the exception of the few stops that I stopped to eat, gas up, and kind of just break up the trip. Um, but I've been on the bike since 9 o'clock this morning, and normally when I ride through the night, I would usually start later in the evening. But in this case, it's going to be an all nighter, and so riding into the night is not that bad. In the wintertime, of course, it's going to be colder, and then you get the sunlight, the sunrise. It does a couple of things for me. It rejuvenates me, gives me that fresh wind, and of course, it's mentally, it makes me feel like it's getting ready to get warmer because now the sun is up. But whether you know it or not, 5, 6 o'clock, which is normally, what time you can expect the sun to get ready to start coming up. But typically, that's the coldest time of the day. Sometimes, like right now, it is 2 o'clock in the morning, and it is 51 degrees. 6 o'clock, it might drop down to 48 degrees or something like that. But typically, 5, 6 o'clock is the coldest time of the day. All right. All right. So this heated gear now, I got to turn it down because I don't want to be frying. I just want to knock the chill off. So I'm gonna turn both the top and the bottom down just a little bit, more so the top. I've got my old man windshield on, and so it's taking care of the top in terms of keeping the wind off of me. But my lowers, my knees are right there in the breeze, so they're gonna get cold quicker because they're in the wind. So I'll turn my top down a little bit more than the bottoms, and let it do what it do. I think a lot of times people want to crank it up, and then they get nice and toasty underneath there and mess around and start sweating, and then that breeze hits that sweat, that moisture, and now you're freezing. So I don't want to be that toasty. I just want to be, comfortable, not to chill off a little bit. See, I got a few folk up. Um, I can't read your comments. It's nighttime. The writing is small, and I don't want to take my eyes off of the road any more than I have to. So please forgive me for not acknowledging your comments. But it is what it is. I guess I need my glasses. And I don't know if you guys know it or not, but the thing about going live on YouTube is any of the live comments do not remain for the replay, and so that kind of sucks because it doesn't give me a chance to go back and read the comments. Once I end this feed, those comments are gone. It's not like Facebook and other platforms where the live comments remain. You can go back later and look at them. YouTube is different for whatever reason. But so again, traffic is light tonight, more 18 wheelers than anything, as it usually is this time of night. Which is why when our family was young, kids were young. Oh my bad, dude. Um, I, as I was oversight, my guy, nothing intentional. People can be so cruel. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to hop on and say what's up for a little bit, see who was up at this ungodly hour. I shouldn't say that. Some people might be, at work. Some people work to 11 to 7. My mother used to call it the graveyard shift. I don't really know why they call it the graveyard shift, but I worked at 11 to 7 for a little while. I had just gotten married, and at the time I was working like 2 or 3 jobs. And that 11 to 7 is no joke. You really got to get used to it. But then there are some people that just can't sleep. They're up late, tossing and turning, and maybe just, so my mind is telling me to eat something, but I really don't need to eat anything. And I ain't doing no more stopping other than gas anyway, gas and go. Because like I said, I am doing the 1K24, which is 1,000 miles within 24 hours. If you are interested in doing so, uh, we'll have a few links up where you can get a 1K24 patch, 1,000 miles in 24 hours. We're working on some things for you guys. Yes, indeed. Once I get to Massachusetts, I'm going to service my bike uh, because I have superseded my service time. I am looking at 8,000 miles so far, so I'm about 1,000 miles over. So when I get to Massachusetts, I'll be dropping all 3 fluids, which consist of the oil, the primary, and the transmission. So I'll drop those fluids and replace with fresh fluids, and I am to need a front tire by the time I get home. I'll reassess it once I get to Massachusetts. And I think when I left, my front tire, of course, was good. Uh, but riding through Nevada and Phoenix, and my goodness, it was a few. One day, the temperatures got as high as 114 degrees, and so when you're riding through all those twisties and the asphalt is real hot, that helps that helps those tires to wear quicker than normal. Certainly quicker than it would in cooler climates. So so hopefully she'll last at least till I get home because I got a wheel out home in my building that I'll just throw on because once I get home, I don't plan on doing a whole lot of riding. I've got an event to do on the 11th, which will consist of 111 miles, so not a big trip. That will be a 9/11, what do you call it, tribute to the fallen first responders. And we will be visiting several different fire stations on that route. That's sponsored by Blue Ridge Harley Davidson in Hickory, North Carolina. If you would like information on that, feel free to inbox me or email me, retrophilosophy.75@gmail.com. Or you can simply go to Blue Ridge Harley Davidson's website, and all the information is there as well for that 9/11 ride. Uh, but again, once I get home, uh, first thing on the agenda as far as the bike is concerned is to get that front wheel replaced. That rear tire is still looking good. I went dark side months ago, and so most of the dark side riders, they emphasize the fact that you'll definitely be able to get at least 3 times the wear out of a car tire than you would a motorcycle tire. And so far, so good. So I'll get home and that rear tire will still be good, but the front tire will definitely have to be replaced. First weekend in October, we'll be heading down to Louisiana for the RTE, which is the Ride to Eat, Reef and Solos RTE. Uh, so that's every October, every first weekend in October. I said I was turning this suit down, but good Lord, it feels like I might have turned it up. Again, I don't want to be too toasty, just comfortable enough. And I really want to turn these gloves up, but I don't want to risk it because I know it's going to shut down. So I don't know what's going on, why they're doing that. But we're going to find out as soon as I get to a cycle gear. As soon as I get to a cycle gear. Yes, sir. All right, ladies and gentlemen, nothing to see here, nothing exciting, just more of the same here on Interstate 80 eastbound, coming through Indiana. I believe we're in Indiana. That's where we're at last. Now, if I was down south, I would have already passed a dozen Waffle Houses. And Waffle House don't sound like a bad option right now because normally you can get in there quick and they're usually fairly consistent with their food. And what I mean by that is, you know, one Waffle House is about the same as the other one, with the exception of the one I went to in Wilmington, which was a very bougie Waffle House. I had never seen a bougie Waffle House until I went to Wilmington last year when we did the NC Four Corners. It was in a normally Waffle Houses are in a standalone building, not this one. It was downtown Wilmington, and it was part of a storefront. It was really nice, way nicer than you would expect a Waffle House to be. But they did have some sketchy people out front to kind of add back to the whole awful waffle experience. Let me stop. Shout out to the Waffle House and all their employees. It's your boy Retro here on the Retro Philosophy Show. I rocks with the Waffle House. Like I said, you can get in and out. Get in and out. Ooh, roadkill on the road. Pretty fresh. Pieces is all over the highway. We'll keep an eye on that. I start to see too many of that, and I begin to rethink things. True story. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and shut it down and keep on burning the midnight oil. I'm rested. I feel vivacious. So we're gonna keep on while I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. Okay? Because if I get tired, you know what I'm gonna do, right? Yeah, if I get tired, I'm gonna shut it down. Safety first and first safety. Got a vehicle coming up on my rear, and anytime I see a vehicle coming up on me fastly approaching, I hit the right lane. I do one of these numbers and slow it down a little bit because it might be Popo trying to catch up. And she's calling to check on me, no doubt. Thank you for pressing play. It's your boy Retro signing off.